Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another edition of First Look. And in this edition of First Look, I'll be doing First Look UFC Fight Night, Strickland versus Magomedov. So I'm really gonna do odds with this one because I feel like a lot of odds haven't came through for this fight card yet. But some of these fights literally don't even need to look at the odds. If it's like something like if it's minus 1,000, hey, that's still good odds for this card. You know, somebody said, "What are you talking about?" Click, I'm cutting this video off. You said minus 1,000 is good value. Good, that is never good value. Even if it's John Jones versus Steve Jobs, that's you should never make $1. What if Steve Jobs caused John Jones to trip over Kane, his leg get dislocated? Minus 1,000 is never good odds. But as I say it more, you're gonna be like, oh, I get it. But especially, obviously, people just can't see minus 1,000 and think like, well, it's minus 1,000. That's not good. But then we think about, oh, you go do in the distance. So it's not just purely off, oh, minus 1,000 this. Like, you could easily cut that minus 1,000 into like minus 500 or minus 300 just by doing the distance. Because that's how, like, some of these picks, like I said, I don't know the odds just yet because they haven't dropped for a lot of these fights. And for other ones, I don't really care too much for it. It's not really focused on the odds purely for this one because I know where they're roughly going to be at. And yeah, but anywho, yeah, it's some easy money on this card. I'm gonna say some easy money on this card, but I guess I'm gonna focus on the fights that I feel like is for sure easy money for this card, and maybe one pick that's like one decent dog, and some easy money. Probably two decent. Well, one decent dog, one kind of questionable dog, and some easy money on his card. So Guram Kudalazi, I think he had like minus 400 against Elvis Brenner. Elvis Brenner ain't got the best takedown offense. Struggled to beat a former 45er. Lost with some 45ers. I think Guram Kudalazi is a pretty big lightweight. I think he's faster. I think he's a much more technical striker, a much more technical overall fighter. I think minus 400 is a great value for him against Elvis Brenner, who really even win his debut fight. So I think that's a good value for Guram Kudalazi. So great value for Guram Kudalazi. I think this fight you can get it done in distance, so you could probably cut that in half, maybe even get that at plus money. But Guram Kudalazi, even just at money line minus 400, that's a great value for this one, in my opinion. Next one, Joe Anderson Brito versus what's his name? Weston Wilson. This is literally like, no, this is literally a created character that's been thrown in there because they couldn't fill the spot. And this might as well be, that generic character, like, that where they just have like Michael Bisping and whatnot. They just have Michael Bisping's silhouette. That's what might as well be what Weston Wilson is. He's just like, you online, everybody offline or something, like, Gears of War back in the day. Everybody offline. So they just couldn't get enough players, so they throwing NPCs in there. Just like literally like a NPC being thrown in here for sacrifice. So he ain't got no good skills. He an okay grappler, but Burrito's a way better grappler than him. Frel is a mug. Terrible striking, terrible record, and terrible you got a questionable record against mediocre competition. Like literally terrible competition. Literally straight up tomato cans. Brito should just run through this guy. So this is what I'm saying. Brito might be minus 1,000, but this is about as lock as it gets. This is literally this guy that's been fed to the slaughter. This is a lamb to the slaughter. This is damn near bet the whole house on this. Bet your house on it. Bet all your family's house on this one, and give it a reason for the odds to be minus 1,000, or make it minus 10,000 because like y'all just throwing your whole house on because this is like straight up easy money. But hey, don't take my word for it. I'll say this easy money, and I think it's going, in my opinion, cash 100 times out of 100. Barring a random Goku heart virus, minus 1,000, it's going to cash every single time. It's probably not even going to be minus 1,000. I feel like it's probably going to open up probably open up minus 500, minus 600. Then probably by fight night, we'll reach minus 1,000. But you're going to have plenty of time to get in here at even better value and for guaranteed money. That's a decent one. I would say Ivana Petrovic, but she don't look all that good, and it's not like Luana Carolina ain't great. I mean, definitely not good either. But Ivana Petrovic hasn't proven to be really much anything yet either. So that's a fight where it could seem like, oh, I like, that's a fight where you could seem like, oh, this is good value to put Ivana Petrovic in or anything like that. But it could easily be a fight where you just end up losing money. But hey, might put a little bit of small stuff on that, but I ain't really impressed with that one. That's not really a great one. Even with decent value at like minus 200, that's not really a great one. Now the questionable dog, Kevin Lee. The UFC only invited him back because they thought he was Keith Lee, but he back in the UFC now. Kevin Lee versus Renat Faragdinov. Faragdinov should in all things win. I'm not saying I'm picking Kevin Lee, or at least right now I'm not picking Kevin Lee. If anything, I'll say I'm picking Renat Faragdinov. Probably about average confidence right now. But again, I haven't made my picks yet, so it could be anything at this point. But right now, I'm definitely not picking Kevin Lee. My mind says not taking Kevin Lee. But as a dog, it's a good potential. Like Renat Faragdinov, primarily a wrestler. Kevin Lee's a good wrestler. I think Kevin Lee, ceiling wise, I feel like he's a better wrestler than Renat Faragdinov. But the issue with Kevin Lee is his mental, it's his cardio, his toughness. But as far as skill wise, he's far more skilled than Renat Faragdinov everywhere this takes place. But it's a case of where's your mental at? Can you push the pace for 15 minutes? But yeah, it's definitely open, and he might even finish him. But yeah, at plus 200, that's a great value for Kevin Lee. Like we might feel like Kevin Lee ain't this, Kevin Lee ain't that, or he fell off, or he hasn't been himself. But he's still young enough, and if his mind lock in, we have seen fighters kind of skid and do like this and have this type of thing, and then they come back and they find what they missing, and they turn their careers around. So Kevin Lee still, I think, has the skill and talent and all the stuff he needs to turn his career around. I don't think he's gonna be no great welterweight, but I think he can go back down to lightweight, make some adjustments. Sky's the limit. He could go on and win. Because I think he has championship potential if he gets his mind right, gets his conditioning right, gets his heart right, get his mind right. All are very hard things to do, but if he can do it, sky's the limit. I think he could be Magomedov. I think he could be all of them, in my opinion, if he gets his stuff right. But I ain't guaranteeing that. But I'm saying if he had all that stuff right, he could be all of them. He could be Khabib. He could be all of them. Again, I'm not guaranteeing all that stuff, but again, if he had all that stuff right, he has skills and attributes to beat all of them. But again, easier said than done. Like you have plenty of guys in the NBA, 7 feet tall, this and that, got all the skills with like doing triple, reverse, double backflip dunks and stuff, could shoot out the gym. But some deeper stuff in people that's going to separate these amazing talents and this all this everything. That simple thing is your mental right. You have that mental toughness, you have that physical toughness. Like you have all the talent in the world. But again, I feel he's lacking that. But if he could rewire that, get on point, he could beat everybody. Welterweight probably not, but lightweight for sure he could beat everybody. And that's where it kind of comes in. Renat Faragdinov, I would say, oh, he gonna beat Kevin Lee, but Renat Faragdinov ain't nothing special. He ain't going nowhere. He gonna get some wins in the UFC, but he gonna be afterthought pretty soon. This man ain't win no title. He a scrub for real. Just another overhyped bum, but hey, he should be to beat Kevin Lee. Again, I'm gonna say right now, Renat Faragdinov, a lot of people from that region, a bunch of overhyped bums that. All these bum people size up and only like 3 of them got belts. Y'all ain't that good. I'm sorry I had to say it. But yeah. Yeah. But anyway, Kevin Lee got a good chance in that. At plus 200, that's great value for maybe a little head bet, maybe to throw him in a parlay, put a lengthy parlay, put Faragdinov in it, then do the same exact mirror parlay and put Kevin Lee in it or something like that. Or maybe Kevin Lee, I don't know. But at plus 200 regardless, even if you just put like a little half unit on that for Kevin Lee, that definitely could potentially hit. Again, because if Kevin Lee click, he could do some great things in the sport. Or continue to do great things, or get back to greatness. Yeah, now, next one, Ismael Bonfim versus Benoit Saint-Denis. Saint-Denis been fun. I think he packed up. I said packed up. Well, yeah, this loss might cause him to pack up, get out the UFC. But no, he's been fun for these last 2 fights. Even his debut loss, he was fun in that one. I guess what's his name? Zaleski dos Santos. He was getting picked apart against Zaleski dos Santos, but he stayed in there through 15 minutes and got knocked out like 20 times, but it showed the heart of a champion. And then picked up 2 exciting wins in his next fights after that debut and butchering he got. But yeah, going against Ismael Bonfim. Bonfim got good BJJ, got good wrestling, offensive and defensively, and he's actually a much more technical striker than Beneath. That's all, folks. Than Benoit Saint-Denis. So yeah, Ismael Bonfim should be able to beat Benoit Saint-Denis however he wants. Well, primarily by keeping the fight on the feet and just picking them apart. He should be able to do whatever he wants, and I think he should be able to get him out there in the distance. And so I think he got a decent little value right now. I think he probably like minus 500 or something right now, minus 400. I ain't really even looking at the odds. By the way, I'm saying my confidence in this one is very high, and he should in all things win. So again, like those any value below minus 1,000 or I'm not saying below minus 700, minus 700 below for this one is a very good value in my opinion. Especially when you could parlay it with some other locks on this card or high confident picks on this card. In all certainty, Ismail Bonfim should win this one. That's what I'm trying to say. So definitely one to look forward to on this card and get it why before the odds get ridiculous. Because I feel like right now the odds aren't ridiculous, but get it before the odds get ridiculous. Is all I'm saying with that one. And then another one, Max Griffin versus Michael Morales. I think the value on this one's still pretty good, like minus 300, minus 400. Matter of fact, I think it's more like minus 200, minus like 210 or something right now. Yeah, it's like minus 210. I think the Rosa fight is minus 200. Carol Rosa's minus 400. That's a decent one as well, but it's not a great one. It's not for sure, certainly. But Michael Morales minus 210, that's a very good value going as Max Griffin. Max Griffin, like 37 years old. And as I said, you watch all my videos. You probably watched the video that I just posted literally the same time I posted this video, but where I went wrong or post fight. And I was talking about pecking orders, and I was talking about Andy Hill adhering to pecking orders, and it seemed like Jillian Robertson is obeying the pecking orders. I feel like Max Griffin obeys the pecking orders. I feel like he definitely got a knockout chance against Michael Morales, who kind of feels like he's so pretty and so good at times. He kind of leaves himself open. His chin kind of be hanging out there. And what's his name? Max Griffin does got long arms and good power. He could definitely touch him if he hangs his chin out there. But again, Max Griffin has not yet been able to overcome the pecking order. And he's 37, he ain't getting younger. So if you ain't broken the pecking order at any point in your career, and now you're 37, you're not likely overcoming the pecking order. Michael Morales is, for all things, I think a guy that's going, unless something, he gets injured in life, or I'm not wishing that upon him or nothing like that. Unless something crazy happens, I think Michael Morales is for sure, at the very minimum, a guy that's going to break into the top 15, top 10, at minimum. Can even be a champion, but I would say at minimum top 15, top 10. Matter of fact, I'm going to say at minimum he will reach top 10 in his career. Probably further than that. I'm not guaranteeing no championship or nothing like, or even a title shot, but I'll say at the very minimum he will break into the top 10. So I feel like he will already kind of treat this fight as a guy that's a top 10 fighter versus Max Griffin. And Max Griffin, even when he gets shots like against Morano, who's a guy that's should be a fight that, I think it's probably like either a pick 'em or a slight dog, slight favorite, a fight that could be very good for him and get us momentum. He lost that one. Alex Oliveira lost that one. He beat Carlos Condit, but Carlos Condit don't really count. Carlos Condit was like a shell of himself, so it's not like you just beat a fallen veteran. Like that's what all fighters do. Even tomato cans are able to do that, and he still barely beat him. And then he just struggled to beat Tim Means. So like, yeah, I can't really trust him too much. So I think I can't trust him too much in this spot, and I can trust him to not do well in this spot. And I do think Michael Morales just has overall better talent, the better overall fighter. It's just a case of Michael Morales got to keep his chin up. I mean, not keep his chin up, but keep his hand. Well, he's not gonna keep his hands up. I could say he needs to keep his hands up, but he got to stay. Keep his eyes sharp. He keeps his hands kind of low. That's what some people are. That's how they are. He gonna be 35 years old. Like that's still how he gonna fight. He gonna be a little bit sharper. It reflects him a little better. He gonna move his head a little better, move his feet a little bit better. But he probably always gonna be a guy that kind of hangs his hands a little bit low, and kind of relies on his reflexes. Rely on that. But again, reflex got to be a little bit sharper. And if you're not gonna keep your hands up, your eyes gotta be very sharp. And I think he'll do a little bit better in that. And I think he's gonna keep getting better with every fight. And also, a finish might be potential here, or just go a general KO, or general in the distance. Because only way Griffin gonna win this fight is knocking him out. And I think with Griffin turning 37 or being 37, he might be a durable guy up until this point. When you start reaching a certain age in MMA and in combat sports, you might be a durable guy in your early 30s, your mid 30s, your 20s, your teens. When you start getting 30, 37, when you start getting 37 and beyond and stuff, then you start to like, hey, I used to take that so much better. Like the shots you used to take, now you waking up, wow, how I get knocked out? I take this shot all the time in the gym. I've been taking these same shots my whole career. Like, and I've been good. Like, what happened? That little shot knocked me out. And I feel like that could be a case against Griffin. Like, at this point, I can see him get a knockout. And also, Morales has been winning his fights by knockout in the UFC. 2 fights in the UFC by knockout. Rough start, kind of low, not really rough, but a little shaky starts, and then he knocks his opponent out. I think he knocked out Fugit in the third, and I think he knocked out what's his name? I forget his name right now, but he knocked him out in the second round. So probably could be a similar thing here. Maybe Max Griffin look a little decent to start, maybe a little rough patch. Again, probably catch him with some shots where he kind of just feel like he out of range, get touched by something, some shots, but I think he wears them well enough. Or again, probably outside, so far outside of range a little bit that the shot don't really isn't able to really connect fully. Kind of just grazes him a little bit, and I hit him with full power. But then, like as the fight goes on, he's able to read those shots better, counter them, and start to really well on Griffin. Maybe hurt him in this like established position on him, and to start letting ground and pound go on him. Not really a knockout, but like a positional knockout. Like you have your opponent rock, they so rock they can't get back to standing. Then just on top of them, probably hitting arms with hammer fists, or maybe getting some of those shots through. But the ref to see your opponent not responding, and you get like a stop it. So yeah, I can see that happening for Michael Morales. But definitely, I think Michael Morales at minus 210 is a phenomenal value. Phenomenal value, especially going against a guy who's 37 years old, who has never really been able to win a big fight. And then you see with Angela Hill, and you see with some of these other fighters, like if you reach a certain age and you haven't done it, you're just not going to do it. Like Angela Hill shows so much improvement in her career, but even with all this improvement, it is too late. She's just not going to overcome the pecking order, and I feel similar with Max Griffin. And again, stop is definitely on the table, but at minus 210, you really don't got to chase the finish all that crazy. I think Michael Morales has a 99% chance, in my opinion, even though that's not good math or good statistics. I think in my head canon, in 99% of the times he should win this fight. So at minus 210, that's phenomenal value, especially when you can parlay it. And I think the final fight, I'm going to also mention the main event because that's a good value too. So next one, we got Demir Magomedov versus Grant Dawson. Now I think Grant Dawson's going to be the dog. I'm not too sure where the odds are right now. I haven't really checked it, but I feel like he probably going to either be a pick 'em odds or probably be a dog for this one. I think right now I think he like plus 125, but either way, a dog against a guy who literally lost one fight and was like thinking about retirement. And you can say he's a good anti-grappler, good this, good that, but what grapplers have he really fought? You fought Siakam, and Siakam was able to take him down pretty well. And I'm not saying Grant Dawson is as good as Siakam or not, but I think Grant Dawson's a very good wrestler, grappler. Strike is improving, but definitely need to focus on his wrestling grappling. I think he can definitely push one through. And I think he's the brightest dog on the whole card, in my honest opinion. I think he's the brightest dog with the best chance to win. And especially going in there against a guy who just came off of getting grappled up and also is coming off of like basically a short retirement or was considering retirement. So a guy that's come off lost to a grappler, going against another grappler, and also contemplating retirement. That's just a lot of red flags on his side. So I feel like Ismagulov should actually be a dog and should be a case of like, I believe in Ismagulov to bounce back and stuff. But given every factor, he should be the dog. But all the better to say, hey, Dawson's the dog in this one. And yeah, if you're gonna pick a dog, Dawson seeming like the best dog on the card, in my opinion. He got a clear setup to win. Not saying he got it. Not saying he's getting gifted at all. This is a very close fight, and in my opinion, it's a very much slice down the middle with pick'em. It doesn't matter who wants some more, but it seems like Dawson wants some more. Dawson lost. You didn't see him. What did he lose to? Did he lose in the UFC? I don't think he lost in the UFC yet. He ain't lost in the UFC. He had a bad fight, but I don't think he lost in the UFC yet. Yeah, he hasn't lost in the UFC yet. He lost one fight, and that was outside of UFC. But he has rough fights in UFC, or had a rough fight in UFC, or at least 2 rough fights. But you don't see him contemplating quitting. Just go back to the drawing board, getting better. So it's never a good sign when you see a fighter contemplating quitting. So again, Dawson is a dog, especially with that grappling edge. Great value. And now in the main event, Sean Strickland versus Abu. Again, always this not really saying me. I'm picking these picks, especially Kevin Lee. I didn't say I picked him. I'm just saying looking at the value. The ones I'm saying like 99% confidence, those obviously I'm picking. But the ones I'm just saying great value because they're a dog, or those aren't really picks just yet. Maybe one of them is, but it's definitely not Kevin Lee. So I'm saying I'm picking Grant Dawson. But hey, don't hold me to that because it ain't my final pick yet. So look at the actual quick picks in the full card prediction video, and that will be my final pick. Don't look at this video and think, this is his pick, or he said 100% confidence, and so he bet the whole house on it. Well, actually, if I said I bet the whole house on it, I said the whole house on what's his name? I said it on Brito. Believe it, believe it. Date Bayo, believe it. somebody like this guy just be talking, he be throwing random stuff out there. I don't know what he's talking about, but he's saying a whole lot of something, and I'm like here, I'm intrigued. Like, yeah, I don't know what you're saying, but I'm locked in. I'm locked in. I don't know what you're saying, but I'm locked in. Sound like you know what you're saying. You did go 5-7 last week. I don't know what that. I don't know why I'm still locked in. I should be like, low key. I've been killing this guy every single week. This guy kind of trash, to be honest. Like, he just changed, take the king out of his name, but I don't know. Even though I'm doing better than this guy right now for the past 2 months, probably, I'm still gonna stay locked in. Like, I don't know. I'm locked in. I'm locked in with you, Crackdown. But yeah, I just took the Crackdown. I just took the king out too. So again, what is this guy talking about? What is he talking about? But anyway, Sean Strickland versus Abus Magomedov. I think right now, I think the odds gonna stay kind of low for this one. With like Strickland still like in the 200s right now. Maybe might even drop to the hundreds. But I don't think he's gonna drop as a dog in this one. But I think Strickland has great value here. He's going 5 rounds versus a guy who has not shown anything to really trust him behind. He knocked out Stolfus, who was Stolfus? Stolfus had one decent performance against Mershart, and also he got an injury win over what's his name? Joe Piper. He got an injury win on the Contender Series over Joe Piper. So he didn't really beat. He beat Joe Piper, but it was like an injury. Like it was a freak injury. I think Piper went to plant and injured himself, so he got a win over Piper. That's the biggest accomplishment. And he had a good fight with Mershart, where he was winning the fight up until Mershart finished him. But other than that, like Piper, what's his name? I just forgot his name. I've been saying his name, but I forgot his name. Yeah, Stolfus, it really ain't doing nothing. So that's his only real significant win. Then you look at he got knocked out by like a 49-year-old Lewis Taylor. And then he bounced back by beating this 40 and 59 pro boxer, like a literally tune-up walkover. And I don't know how he got a walkover from boxing to MMA to give him a win. That was terrible. And he just went out there and got a little gift wrap submission over him, like easy submission over him. Like, hey, my manager set me a real win to get real good to probably get $50,000 to just submit a trash boxer. And then he fought some guy with like a padded record. Like, hey, give me a guy with an undefeated guy. Build him up so he's undefeated. He's a scrub really, but hey, he's pretty much probably like a level above this trash boxer. But he's 13-0 because he's been beating up tomato cans, so we got him build up. And then give me this can. But he like let him stack himself like stack up other cans, lesser cans, get an undefeated record, and then let me beat on him so I can say, oh, I beat this fighter, and I beat an undefeated fighter. Look at that, looks good for my record. Or he was undefeated at the time I fought him. And then he came in and beat Stolfus. Look good beating Stolfus. That's his best win in years. And now he's getting Sean Strickland in a 5-round fight. So kind of be a hard sell. Like Strickland has been 5 rounds. He's trains with some of the best fighters, beats some of the best fighters in the UFC. Still a young guy. I think he's still like 32, 33. Matter of fact, probably like 31. So still a very young guy. Still sitting right in his prime. So it's not like you're getting like a 38-year-old Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland might act like he's an old veteran, like act like he Don Fry and whatnot. A little more controversial Don Fry. But he's only in his early 30s. Very early 30s. And going with Subian, who's probably like early 30s as well. Matter of fact, he might actually be a little bit older. But yeah, Subian, I just see him as a knockoff Nasruddin Imavov. Less tested, less skilled. Maybe a little bit more power. I think Sean Strickland should be able to drown him in the rounds, and probably should even be able to get a finish. But it's Sean Strickland. He could talk what his talk, but when he gets in the fight against somebody that's not going to lay down for him, at the end of the day, he's just a decisionator. So most likely going to be a decision. I think a stop is definitely available in this one, but I think Sean Strickland at, low 200s, minus 200, whatnot, minus 210, minus 220, minus 230, minus 260, anything in the minus 200s, and really even start to breach a little bit into the minus 300s, I think is a phenomenal still value for Sean Strickland. So I think Sean Strickland should win this one. I think good confidence Sean Strickland should win this one. Probably going to be high confidence. I don't think it's going to be locked, but because also, who knows, there might be a little narrative here. They might be wanting to push people with Magomedov in their name. Who knows? They might rob Strickland, but Strickland should all in all win this one. Magomedov has nothing of Supian or Abus. What's his name? Abus Magomedov hasn't done anything to really even validate him to be in this spot. So I think Strickland's going to do everything to show him that he don't belong here. And Strickland, continue to train hard, train with the right people. Hopefully Pereira don't wear his chin down so much that he get knocked out by something weird. But yeah, it should be a great value for Strickland, and I think that value should stick all the way up into the card. And hey, you might even be able to get some good live eyes or whatnot. But yeah, Strickland, 200s, 300s, still value in my opinion. 400 start to get a little bit bad, but 200, 300 is still value. 200 is robbery, 300 is still, but 400 like 300 is good value, 200 still, below 200 is legit GTA heist robbery right there, without actually even having to go through the difficulty of robbery, like what do they call it, white collar robbery. Like you just enter a little code, buy a little device, and all of a sudden you robbing multi-billion-dollar companies just like that without even having to break a sweat. That's what type of robbery that is at minus 100s. But yeah, so that was the value. So I didn't give you no value, but those are the fights where I feel there is value in. So Kudalase, look out for that. Brito, look out for that. Kevin Lee, just purely for the plus money. I'm not saying it's a layup. Oh, well, that's not a layup. that was a 3-pointer. It's not a layup on the kitty ball, on kitty hoop at all. It's a contested 3-pointer. A contested 3-pointer with 3 defenders on you, but the value is pretty good. You don't have to invest too much into that. Yeah, you don't have to invest too much into that. So yeah, that's okay. That's okay. And then Gabriel, Ismael Bonfim, not Gabriel Bonfim. Ismael Bonfim. Look at that. That's one to look into. Michael Morales, look into that one. Grant Dawson, dog right there. In a good setup. It's not just purely just going off, oh, that's value. Like Grant Dawson has a very good chance to win that one. And in my opinion, he should not be the dog in this one. Am I saying he's a layup for this one? No. That's probably a 3-pointer with one defender on you at decent range. You're not all the way in enemy territory trying to launch a 3 over there like with Kevin Lee. It's like you like just at the tip of the arc and you got like one defender on you. So, just outside just at the tip of the arc, right out there, just right on the outside of that, shooting a 3-pointer with one defender on you. You got decent space on you. Like I said, it's not the most high success or the high percentage shot, but it's a good shot. And again, it's going to be a 3-pointer because it's going to be plus money. And then Sean Strickland versus a guy who don't deserve to be there, and Abus Magomedov, and still at minus 200 value. Great steal right there. And yeah, that's the video. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. And hey, let's get this money next week, and let's get back on track. Well, I don't know. I think some of y'all did phenomenal last week, or this week, or today. But next week, I'm gonna get back on track. And if you didn't have a good week, or you had a good week, we all gonna have a good week next week. So on to the next one. Let's get into it. Peace.